What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again for coming through, much appreciated. Very interesting topic. I guess, especially after the Carlos Takam fight, and I guess even prior to the Carlos Takam fight, people are always intrigued when AJ gets on the scales. Obviously, there's been comparisons with Frank Bruno in terms of him being a bit muscular and almost too muscular, right, for the heavyweight division. And I guess for AJ, it's not really been too much of a factor because he's been knocking people out. But in his last two fights, obviously they've gone the furthest in terms of rounds. Obviously both of them went to round 10. And I think it's fair to say in both of those fights, for different reasons, I think we saw stamina issues. I think we saw stamina issues against Klitschko because Klitschko was quite aggressive in that fight. It was the first time AJ's been that many rounds and he got put on the floor. So I think rightly so you're going to see stamina issues. I don't care. Even if it wasn't a heavyweight, which obviously they're big boys, even if that was a middleweight going, those kind of rounds, it was set at a pace. So I don't think it was too much of a problem. Carlos Takam was a bit different because Carlos Takam wasn't necessarily an aggressive fighter in that. It was almost counter-punching, if anything. So the person that was being aggressive was AJ. AJ was kind of tracking him down. And I think I saw, and I think many people saw, that AJ looked tired after round 4 or 5. I think after round 4 or 5, his nose wasn't broken, so he might have had a bit of problems in terms of breathing, but I think it just came down to a case of he was too big and it was stamina issues. And I think we've all kind of identified that. As you guys can see on my thumbnail, I put a picture of AJ. That's when he turned pro. Was it 2013, 14? I can't remember. 2014, I think, against Emmanuel Leo. I think it was Emmanuel Leo. AJ that day weighed in at 16 stone 6. Really though, it was about 16.2, 16.3. If you guys can go and check the weigh-in video, AJ was wearing really big, thick tracksuit bottoms. Something he doesn't do now. Now he's very proud of his new muscular legs, and so he wears shorts all the time. But back then, I think he could have been wearing trainers again. I'm not sure. I think he could have been wearing trainers, but he definitely was wearing thick tracksuit bottoms. So I think he really was about 16.3, 16.4 if you want to argue. So he would say it's natural, and I don't mean, when I say natural, I don't mean PEDs by the way. I mean natural in terms of it's just his development as a man. He's now just a bigger guy, and we can all relate to that, I guess. But we're not all professional athletes. Professional athletes need to kind of know their optimum weight and stick to it. That's just how it works. We don't know that. I speak to a number of, I used to speak to a number of rugby players, because I used to play a bit of semi-pro football, and where I used to train, Wasps used to also train there as well. And so I spoke to a few guys and about weight management and blah blah, and even the big props, mainly the flankers and the flyers, but even the big props said, my weight is boom, and for every big match I want to come in at this weight. So they kind of understand where their optimal weight is in terms of where they kind of perform best at. I don't know if AJ knows that yet, and that's the thing he's going to need to kind of get to know very quickly. I was looking at a couple other boxers in terms of how to compare him, and Lennox Lewis, who I wanted to get because he's around the same height as AJ, maybe not as muscular, but the same height as AJ. He started his career at 16 stone 5, went as low as 16 stone, but many people thought his optimum in terms of best performances were when he was about 17.3, 17.4. Those are the Evander Holyfield performances, etc. When he got knocked out by Oliver McCall, where he was 16 stone 5, he then returned and jumped straight back up to like 17 stone bit. So he went really high after the Oliver McCall performance, and he got even bigger when he fought Vladimir Klitschko and Rackman the first time. When he fought Vladimir Klitschko and Rackman, it was his highest weight ever, which was 17 stone 10. Everyone said, look, way too big, look, gas in both fights. Everyone remember the Klitschko fight, really gassed, really out of shape, and the first Rackman fight as well. So he found his optimum weight, where everyone thought it's the best Lennox Lewis in terms of those performances against the likes of Tyson, I think Tyson, yeah, but Evander Holyfield definitely. Even light against Razor Ruddock, those were his best performances, and he was 17 stone 3, 16 stone 8, 16 stone 9. So he found his optimum weight. Everyone, strangely enough, compares Anthony Joshua to Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno, believe it or not, fought Mike Tyson. This is the first fight against Iron Mike, and everyone thought he looked big then. Frank Bruno, who was what, 6'4", 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", for that fight against Tyson, he was 228 pounds. That is 16 stone 5 people. So Frank Bruno wasn't as big muscly, is that a word, as people think. The big Frank Bruno, in terms of the one for the rematch with Mike Tyson and the Oliver McCall fight, that guy was 247 pounds. That, I believe, is 17 stone. Let me go get my laptop. So 248 pounds in stone. That's come back as 17.7, and that was a big muscular Frank Bruno. Anthony Joshua is maybe an inch taller. Is coming into the ring at 18 stone 2. It's way too big. I wonder with Anthony Joshua sometimes if there's a body beautiful thing going on, in terms of he wants to look that good on this guy, he wants to look fantastic, rather than realizing what that muscle is all needed for, which I'm sure he knows. He's got nutritionists, I mean, he's got scientists that work alongside him, and I don't understand how they would want him to come in the ring that big. I did say this earlier that he was too big, and some people said, oh, it's because he was preparing for Pulev. Why would you still come in that big for Pulev? Pulev isn't a big guy. Pulev isn't a Tyson Fury or Vladimir Klitschko. He's not that big. So I don't understand why he'd come in that big. For me, optimum weight for him, I think, is about 17 stone 5. Look, that he realizes that now. Because for me, he didn't take any punishment against Carlos Takam. He was on the front foot a bit, and he still looked very tired. Normally it's the guy that's on the back foot that's eluding and trying to dodge that gets gassed very quickly. Not the guy on the front foot. The guy on the front foot who's controlling the pace of the fight should really be comfortable, because you're making it a comfortable pace for yourself. Carlos Takam didn't set a hot pace. Anthony Joshua just got tired, and I think they need to realize that optimum weight for Anthony Joshua, 17.3, 17.4, because the jump from 16 stone 3 to 18 stone 2 in 4 years, way too much. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. What were you guys thinking? Too big? Too muscular? I mean, like I said, this is the guy that's now clearly outweighed Lennox Lewis, outweighed Frank Bruno, guys that we thought were big heavyweights. He's now a lot bigger than them. Lennox Lewis looked fantastic, 17 stone 2, 17 stone 3, went up to 17 stone 10, looked a bit too much. Even Frank Bruno looked good, really at the lighter, 16.5 stone, went up to 17 stone 7 and looked far too muscular. And here we have AJ, who's around their size in terms of height, coming in the ring 18 stone 2. I think it's a bit too much, but let me know what you guys think. Peace.